Hello, let's talk about planning for your baby. Yeah. Congratulations. Expecting a child, planning for a child is such an exciting process. And yes, it's also apprehensive. And that's what I'm here for to sort out the money part of it. But in terms of the whole idea, the whole experience is actually quite beautiful. And so, congratulations are in order. My name is Ola, and on this channel, I basically explain personal finance, investing, and the economy in simple English. So if you want to learn about how to manage your finances, to put it in order, everything about it, right? Just subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you get fresh content from me every week. Now, this first step that you need to take is actually very, very important when you are just thinking about getting ready for a child. Like you are actually in the process, you're not pregnant yet. Go and check up on your health insurance, find out the terms. Sometimes with health insurance, they have clauses or restrictions. So maybe your health insurance gives you access to a particular hospital, but you want to have your child in another hospital or in another country. So you might need to upgrade. Now that upgrade usually has like some time where you say you're not qualified for this until after 3 months or 5 months or all that. So if you are thinking about having a child, or if you just got married and you're saying you want to wait for a while, it is important. Go and sort out your health insurance and make sure it's in place. Know what is required so that you don't think, okay, I am fine with health insurance. And then when you are pregnant and you go to your hospital and say you're not covered here, or it covers this, but does not cover this, and you have to pay out of pocket. So the first thing, sort out your health insurance. The next thing that you need to do after knowing what your health insurance covers is that the things that your health insurance doesn't cover that you think you might want to incur, you need to know them. So for example, some health insurance don't cover circumcision. And if depending on what state or what country you are in, you might want to circumcise your son and then you might have to pay out of pocket. And the best doctors might be charging as much as $500 to get it done. So you need to know those additional costs and prepare for them. And also, it might just be to do research on the best doctor that is most affordable. But you don't want to start doing that when you have a new baby. So the idea is that anything that you would want to do for your child or you want to have for your child that is not going to be covered by insurance. For example, epidural might not be covered. Or maybe you can only have one shot and the next one you have to pay out of pocket, things like that. Just know and plan for it mentally and be prepared for it and plan for it, not just mentally, but put away some money for it. Now, the third thing you need to do is to have a baby budget. A baby budget is everything that covers the care of the child, from clothing to the pram, to the walker, to the car seat, to everything, bottles, know all that you need. There are some things that are one-time purchases. There are some things that you have to keep subscribing to, like diapers, like wipes. Do your research. So ask the other mommies. Yes, that's another thing. Like in this journey, do not bother walking alone. Ask questions. If you see a mother at the mall and you see something that is on her child and you are wondering where she got it from, don't think in your mind. Just open your mouth and ask, especially if you have a baby bump. The world is waiting for you. The world is at your feet, ready to help you. So just enjoy it, right? If you see anything and you're wondering, where did she get this for her child? Or how did you do it for your child? Just ask, right? And just plug it somewhere. Either you write a note on your notepad or you keep it in your memory, whatever. But just ask. Open your mouth and ask. But basically, have a baby budget. Now, at this point, I will advise that you don't go gaga on spending. The major reason for this budget is not necessarily that you might have all the money ready at that point, but it's to actually put some context to some of your spending. There are some things that when you see the total budget, you not start saying, oh my goodness, okay, what can I take out? What can I take out? This is too much. We can't really afford this. But if you just spend as you go, you would realize how much you have spent and you would only feel the pressure of the low account balance or the little amount of money to spend, but you won't be able to say where it went. But the budget, a mommy budget, is very important. Now, I will put a link in the description box for you to download like a template that worked for me in terms of everything you need to start with. like bottles, everything you need to start with in one place with recommendations of the best, like, because there's so many options available. So many options. I will drop that in the description box. You can check it out. If it works for you, you can tweak it. Of course, it's Excel, so it's not a big deal. Now, flowing from your baby budget, and of course, in the baby budget will be the list of everything you need for your child. You can create a registry as soon as you find out that your child is coming. Why it is quite good to have your registry early so that people know and put it in their budget to buy stuff for you, right? And it also makes it easier for people to know what you need and what you already have and blah, blah, blah. So you don't have like a million boxes of diapers when you don't have 0 to 3 month old outfits. So putting up your registry is actually fun. It's a good experience for you and your partner. So enjoy the process. But I think the easiest way to do it is as a fallout from creating your baby budget and having a list of everything that you need to buy. So yes, the final thing in terms of preparing for the child to arrive is to have your registry. Now, the final thing you need to do in preparing for your child's arrival is to plan for childcare. Do your research. Are you going to get a nanny? Are you going to put your child in a creche? How many months do you have to stay at home before you have to go back to work? Know all that information and have a plan. Are you having family over? Are your parents staying close by? Or do you have siblings close by? What kind of support structure do you have? Plan for that. And if there are any monetary implications, for example, if you have to get a nanny, or if you have to do daycare, then of course, there'll be monetary implications. So prepare for it. Check out all your options and decide on what you need to do. It's very important to do these things even before your child arrives, or rather set the conversations in motion. You might not have everything figured out, but set the conversation in motion so that not too much is happening at the same time, because having a child and sleepless nights and figuring the child out and figuring yourself out and your body is a lot to deal with, right? So as many things as you can sort of set in motion, and if possible, hand over the search for a nanny to your partner or to your sister or somebody around you that you can trust. Now we're going to talk about the things you need to do once your child arrives. The very first thing is to update your health insurance information to include your child. Usually, because of course the child is a minor, might not have their own records, but they can be put under you so that if there are any health emergencies, because sometimes children who come up with jaundice or all those things that are not necessarily life threatening, but might require some stay in the hospital, right? So you are prepared for that. So at that point, you are not under any form of financial pressure. You are just focused on your child and making sure that your child is well and you're able to go home. So once your child is born, update your health insurance information, right? Of course, you have named your child, you have your child's name and all those things, right? But do that as soon as possible so that at the point where the child arrives, you are ready either to stay at home for a bit and then move the child to daycare, or have a nanny who finds a flow before you finally go back to work. Another thing you can do, depending on what region of the world you are in, apply for any form of child benefit that is available to your child. Of course, you'll have to have the birth certificate and register the child for social security and blah, blah, blah. And then get any benefits that is due to your child. Set them up so that the checks start coming in from day zero. So it can help you, even if that check just goes into getting diapers, it actually adds value. You would see the value over time. If you don't see it immediately, but you will see the value over time. So apply for whatever benefits that are available. So what that means is that you need to find out what benefits are due to you based on where you are currently resident. Let's just assume that you're back home, you're settled in and all that. The next thing you need to do is to update your will, update your trust deed, update any of those things, your financial records to include that child. You need to do it as soon as possible. It's just one of those things that can get forgotten in the midst of all the excitement, the noise, and blah, blah, blah. But update your will to include that child. That assumes that you have a will or you have a trust in place. Now, if you don't, this is a good time to do that. You can set it up before the child arrives, and then, of course, it's easier to have an account officer call you up or set you up to add your child to whatever you've updated there. It is very, very important. And we know life is full of so much randomness, that it's just best to put the right structures in place. The next thing is that you need to open a savings account for the child. You need to start saving, even if it's to have an education trust or any of those things. And no matter how small, just start. You'll be shocked how in 10 years' time you just have money lying down there looking pretty. I'm like, wow, how did this happen? Yes, little drops of water make a mighty ocean. So as soon as that child is born, with your next visit to the bank, open an account for the child, open a trust or open an investment account, something that you can just steadily have a direct debit to, that diligently builds up some wealth for your child, right? You don't know when you would use it or when you would need it in relation to that child. So just start, no matter how little, $10, whatever, just put it away. Open that account for that child and put money and just have like a direct debit to that account from your own personal account, right? So that something is being built up for your child. Then the final thing really is that you need to continue investing. You need to continue saving, right? Because that child needs you. One of the things that tends to happen is that in the midst of all the expenses, in the midst of everything, you sort of forget your regular flow of investing, right? It might slow down the amount that you would, if you, for example, you were investing 10K every month, it might have to drop to 5 or 6 or 3. But that's why I talked about having a budget to start with. If you are actually effectively budgeting for your child and for your home with all the changes that will come, then you can effectively say, or you can logically say, okay, I should do 10K, but now I'm going to start doing 3K. But have a structure and keep building wealth, because more than ever before, you need to have financial stability for the sake of that child. So do not stop. No matter how little, don't say, oh, I just have this left. It's not tangible. It is tangible. Put it away. Invest. Don't leave money idle in your account. Invest it. Which is why before the child arrives, get your hands involved in your investing process. Learn what you need to do and take those baby steps so that you are well positioned for that beautiful child to be very, very comfortable with no stress in life. What do you think about that? That sounds fantastic. I trust this was useful. If you have any questions or thoughts around this, feel free to drop a question in the comment section. And like I said, I'll put the link to templates for baby budgets, and I trust you'll find it useful. And don't forget that you can't outsource your health and your finances. And I will see you next week. Bye.